Okay, and we are live.
Hi.
Yay. So let's just let some people join the group. I'm going to mute us so I can watch some of the comments in the stream. Hi, guys. Let's just let a couple of people join us. It is midday, so we are going to see how it goes in here at a midday live
Right.
Facebook. Hopefully, really well. Um, so let's just let everyone join for just a second and then we'll get started. Okay. Hi guys, Maria here from Finding Magic and Maribella Portraits. Today, my guest is Catherine, and I'm gonna allow her to introduce herself and the name of her photography business.
Hi, everyone. I am Catherine Tapper, and I run Catherine Tapper Photography. I've been doing this for about 2 years now, so I'm definitely still newer. I feel like I've mastered a lot of things, but I still have obviously room to grow. So yeah,
So,
obviously a Finding Magic follower.
she is a little bit nervous, so be easy on her, okay?
Right? I know it's like firing squad. What am I in for? You never know with Maria either.
I know, I'm so terrible.
That's
So it's
okay.
been a crazy couple of weeks, right? We're like in the middle of so much chaos in our lives, and
Yeah.
so I just kind of wanted to take a moment to say, I know it's a really emotional time and we love you guys. We at Finding Magic are about community, about acceptance and loving everybody. So it's tough, but we're going to work through this as a group, as a nation, as individuals. You know, we got this, okay? I firmly believe in the positivity that we can share with each other. Um, anyway, before I go emotional on that,
Right.
had a deep question this week, and we were kind of quiet most of the week. We do have a workshop coming up next week, but I
I'll be
felt
there.
like, yeah, we do. Catherine's coming down to it. So we just felt like we didn't want you guys to feel like we're forgetting about you because we did launch the inner circle, and all of our energy and all of the excitement has been going on in there because we've been jam packing it with information and activities. And I was telling Shayna, oh my God, we cannot forget about Finding Magic. Like that is our baby. We got to go and take care of them. And so I was doing watch parties every day, but I know it's not the same watching a pre-recorded video as it is to watch, to kind of interact with us and give us and give some saying hi, live. So if you're here with us live right now, comment and say, hey, I'm here checking in. Let us know how you're doing. And let's just get started with the conversation. So we wanted to talk, I made a post yesterday about our blocks. And the question was, what is holding you back? And what has it cost you? So there were basically two questions. And I felt like so many of us wanted to just answer in a very superficial way. And that's nothing against your response if you said, myself, I'm holding myself back. Um, because in order to really move past these blocks, we have to get very specific. And you
Mhm.
cannot come up with a game plan and you cannot move forward from those blocks if you don't dig deep and get very specific. So Finding Magic is all about us always continually moving forward through our goals to achieve the next level, and ultimately to be happy and also take care of our families. That's our vision, for our group and our community. We want everybody to achieve everything that you set your mind to achieve. So I'm going to read some of the responses, and I'm going to
Mhm.
challenge you guys, if you are here, to have this conversation with us, have this conversation with me and Catherine. Catherine, I'm sure, has some blocks too. So, Catherine, tell me, what did you feel, or what do you feel is holding you back from achieving your goals?
Um, you know, for me, I'm just off the top of my head, we're just talking. So I guess if I really stop and think, I struggle with really constantly staying active on social media. I've talked to you and Shayna. I know your sections, your
Are
in your
you?
Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, your units. Thank you. So what I struggle with is having content, having something relevant, I guess, to say, that's engaging, having material to always be at the
Top
forefront
of
of
mind.
someone's
Yeah.
mind every day. And quite honestly, it can be a bit exhausting. I'm sure you know. Just
Full-time job.
yeah, it's when you have a family and so many things going on, editing, just taking pictures, it can be a bit overwhelming for me. It's just the first thing that I think of. And really, the coronavirus didn't really help me. I feel like I went stagnant and now I'm like starting over again because I didn't keep up on social media and all of that. And I know, shame on me, right?
It's not. It's actually quite normal and it's okay. My sister's a psychologist and we actually talked about this in the Goddess group. Like there are basic needs that we need as humans. And so, and those include being safe,
Mhm.
eating, you know, like being able to provide yourself for those basic needs. And when those are not met, it is challenging to go on and worry about the other things. And with the corona, it was causing pressure because maybe some of us were not going to have money to be able to take care of our families or keep a roof over our heads. So no shame on you. That's okay. And so if anybody's watching this, it's the same thing. Like it's crazy, it's chaotic right now. And so it's okay to have those feelings because it's difficult. And you should not feel guilty if maybe you decided to lay off social media for a while because it is intense. Okay. um, so no, but we're going to come up with a game plan on how to move through this and, be ready and be prepared so that we can move on to the next step in our lives. So I'm going to read some of the things that you guys have said. Cynthia responded with myself. She did not want to elaborate on that. But we need you, Cynthia. If it's just one thing and one goal, for instance, let's say that your goal is to get a studio, right? Or just book your first client because you haven't had your first client. What is the reality? What is it that's holding you back? And I posted a quote, and that quote was about fear because fear is very real. And we're so often afraid to take action because of that fear. And that's a constant theme. But my firm belief is that on the other side of fear, that if you just never actually take that leap and that jump, then there's that feeling bad, maybe feeling ashamed or guilty or always longing. What would have happened if I had tried? That's a huge
Mhm.
one, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Evie says, I'm just busy to schedule my social media again for 2 months and I hate it. You always have something to say. That's true, Evie. You
Oh,
do.
meaning you always have something to say?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think you're just a very outgoing, talkative
I'm
person.
very
So maybe it just really comes easy for you. Um, right?
Actually, Catherine, if you watch the video from yesterday, which I think you missed in the inner circle, it was
Oh,
about
yeah.
archetypes and finding that voice, and that helps
Yeah.
a lot. It kind of gives you a what is the word, like an objective or
Oh,
a purpose with when you're
yeah.
posting because it has a purpose and you can find that passion and connect
Yeah.
with that passion. So
I think what
I'm
I
gonna
find, oh,
actually
I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say what I find hard is I don't ever want to come off as like salesy. Like I
Right.
do want to show like, I love my work when I'm done with it. But so I want to share it, but I also don't want it to just be like, oh, look at me, look at, like salesy. Like,
Mhm.
do you know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you
Yeah.
mean. So that's another thing that we talk about a lot in the group, which is, every post does not have to be like, look at my beautiful picture, book a session. Look at this
Mhm.
picture I took by this tree, book a session. Look at this. It all comes down to knowing your archetype. If you're thinking about branding and you guys want to explore that, I'm using that word here, archetype. We just talked about it in the inner circle. I will post an article I shared with them so that those of you who are not in the inner circle, you guys are more than welcome to go and explore that. But I also did a live about branding and shaping your branding and message, and that kind of goes hand on hand. Like everything you post is not about the picture or booking a session. In fact, as you're strategizing your social media, kind of find that little rhythm so people can kind of get used to it and maybe make it cyclical. So when I say like launch a campaign, let's say you want to start to build a relationship and attract eyes. And it's going to be every 4 weeks, you are going to invite people to buy from you. So how would you strategize that? Hey, well, on every Monday of the week, I'm going to post a quote, and it's going to be about, something that attracts my client or that it's important to them. So if it's a mama and I want to capture images about connection, I will post an image from one of my clients that is showing connection and talk about that relationship between mom and child without even ever saying, come book a session with me, but just talking about how important that relationship is and what are those things that are important to that mom in that photograph, so she connects with it. And then she can start getting used to seeing that from you before she sees the sales post. So she sees that from you every Monday or every 5 days. She sees an image like that with a little story about that, or a little quote from you saying something about what it means to you or why you enjoy photographing them. So everything that you post doesn't have to be a sales post. I keep repeating myself, but anyway. So think about that. So that's one thing. I would actually come up with categories. So write that down right now. And let's say you come up with 5 categories, or let's say there's 7 days. So come up with 7 categories. Do you have notes? Do you have a pen and paper, Catherine? You don't.
I do not right now.
Right,
I'm gonna have to
so if you're
go back to this
and you're thinking about your strategies for social media, come up with 7 categories, which would be like 7 topics or things that you could discuss in social media via your social media post. One of them, if, like I said, if you're a mom and that's what you're interesting to, those are your ideal clients, are moms with small children under, let's say, 10. Then, one of your topics might be about connection, and it might be about moms raising kids. Another topic might be about how difficult it is to balance life and being a good mom. That might be another topic. So that's something that you post every 7 days. The next one might be a behind the scenes of you, because you want people to know you and know your brand and know the person behind the camera. So the third topic might be, get to know me, my personal life. People don't want to know businesses per se as, brands. They want to know you. They want to associate a person with it, especially with what we do. We're actually kind of like personal brands. So why do you think influencers are so popular? Because people connect with them and they want to live those lives. So they want to see the person behind the camera. So what do I post? I post pictures with my kids.
You and Shayna are very good. And every time I see a pullback behind the scenes, I go running, because, I don't know. I've always found it exciting seeing the pullback, the before and afters. It's
right.
So you're very correct.
Another category. So you would write that down. That's right there. We have 3 categories right off the back. Another category might be, I'm talking about something that's happening. It could be, even if it's just the weather. Today in Houston, it's raining. I can't go out and shoot outdoors. So I'm going to go back in. Let me show you the new sets, giving them a tour of your studio or a tour of your client closet, or, showing them this amazing tree at this beautiful location that you were just dying to shoot at. Like little things like that, where people start to be like, oh, wow, what's going on there? What is she up to today? Like that's what you want. So that being like a block, for instance, saying, oh, I don't know what to post. That's just a block. So in order for us to work through that, you're going to have to sit down and just strategize and make a plan. So now we know we don't have to always sell something, and we don't always have to post a picture. So if we don't have content, like we don't have actual pictures, go out and figure out those categories and just recycle some of your images. So I always say, don't post all of the images from one gallery, like post 1 or 2 and then wait to post more, because 7 months from now, when you share other images, they're completely brand new. They don't know when you took those.
Well, in your opinion, do you feel like someone should be posting every day, or do you think like every other day is?
I think you should just be posting as often as you can.
Okay.
I think that if you can post every day, great. If you can only make it 3 times a week, that's fine too. But you have to be posting. And I'm going to tell you, if they only see you once a month, they're going to forget about you. Because just the way Facebook works and Instagram, and the engagement is, if you don't have any engagement, they're not going to remember you. So they're not going to even pop up in the algorithm because you're never posting. So post so people engage with you. Okay. So let's talk a little bit. Andrea says it's mindset. I can't afford me, so I didn't think anybody else would want to pay for me either. So yeah, definitely. That's a huge block, I think, for a lot of photographers. A lot of us feel like I could never afford that. Um, for me, how I kind of work through that is that I went and booked a session with a photographer I did love, and I had to make payments on it and had to like go through that process. And it wasn't just like a photographer I loved, it was a photographer that I knew was going to provide like good customer service, that I would like the customer service and like the final images, so that I felt good about my investment. That was very, very much key. And I'm not saying go out and do that. That's just something that worked for me, because I kept saying, I'm not that photographer. And it doesn't just translate to photography. It could be with you wanting to buy a couture dress. If you decide, I feel like that investment is worth it for me. Because how many of you have gone out and spent $400 to $1,000 on a couture dress? I know there's a lot of you who have. Okay. Why?
Oh my gosh, what? Where are you all living that you're wearing that? Oh, I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna say, I guarantee you none of you have. Like,
No,
I'm so caught
the
off guard.
opposite, the
Oh,
opposite. But why?
okay.
Because you value it and you think it's going to make you money, and people are going to love your pictures because you have this amazing, beautiful dress. So that's why you go out and do it. So just think about that. Not every photographer thinks spending $500 on a dress is a good investment. They're not going to value that. So you have to think that about your customers. Not every single person is going to think photography is worthy of that. So go out and figure out, what is it that you love to do that you're willing to invest a lot of money for, and go through that process and think about those feelings. Why do I feel this way? Because it's the same thing with photography. If we put ourselves in the buyer's position, okay? And when we talked about archetypes yesterday too, that was one of the things we talked about, is that, you know, you don't want to be someone that's competing on pricing or even quality, like the quality of images. You have to figure out what's going to drive people to have an emotional response, because emotional responses, that obsession, that's what makes you earn fans and make money. Ultimately, is when people are passionate about you and your brand, and what makes you different from other people. So if you go to my goddess page, it's a very specific brand, it's a very specific message. It's sexy, but it's about being fierce and strong. So I'll actually do a breakdown on that as well, because it was fun to do it yesterday. I think you missed that video.
Yeah, I was busy yesterday, so now I feel like now I gotta go back to that.
Yes, I'm gonna tag you on that one. It's a really good one. Okay, so let's see. Stephanie says, I don't know how to go about learning the business side of things. It's not always easy to find resources that are relevant to where I live. So I would start off, Stephanie, with actually searching your markets. Like, look at the demographics within where you're at. Are there any luxury businesses? What are the most expensive boutiques? And then look at how many doctors live there, how many lawyers, like, get those demographics. Are there homes there that are worth over $250,000 in your town, or over $150,000? Some of my best clients are not even, you know, they're just low middle class. It's not the people that make a ton of money that are my best clients. In fact, some of the people that have those 700 or $1 million homes are not even my ideal clients and do not value my photography. So we have to start looking at that and just kind of do a market analysis of where you're at. And it's not at looking at other photographers, it's at looking at other brands and companies that also target the same clients. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you guys? If it makes sense, type it makes sense. But go out and do your market research, because you know, you might live in Florida and it's a super vacation spot, right? And you're gonna say, there's thousands of photographers here, there's so many tourists, like I don't feel like I can do this. But how much are people paying to go down there to go to Disney? I mean, you're talking about 5-6 grand. Who are the clients for Disney? The regular American families, you know, and international families too. And it's not always people that have a ton of money. They save. Why? You're only gonna be there for a week, and then what are you gonna have? Pictures? Over expensive food? Why? Why? Exactly. So think about those kind of things. People are everywhere. And those people that are coming to Disneyland or Disney World, they're coming from all over the United States, even your hometown.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So Heather says one of her blocks is the confidence in saying price, and it's cost her a loss of profit. So how do we work through that block? So one of the things that I would recommend for you, Heather, is actually to come up with a script. And in your script, you have to, first of all, figure out like what is of value within your client experience. So it's not just the photos and it's not just the products. What are the things that differentiate you from all of your competition? And don't just like talk to people about features and benefits. Like that's a salesy thing that sometimes people get, like they either mistrust you or they get a bad taste in their mouth about it. So let's break that down. Write all of the things down that make you amazing or that help you stand out, or what makes you different from everybody else. Why do you care? Why do you do photography? And then use that. And your next goal needs to be to create an actual script and then just practice and start telling everybody how much you cost. But you can't just say, this is how much I cost. You can't do that. You're laughing, Catherine, but it's true. You
I'm
can't
just thinking,
say,
tell your mama, she'll tell everybody.
yes, you will. That's perfect. Oh yeah, my mama does that for sure. No, you have to like just go out there and talk about your photography. Talk about why you do. Why are you passionate about what you do? I have had, actually, Evie is on this call and she has been on a Zoom call with me with a prospect, right, Evie? And it was so fun. Guess how long that conversation was?
Oh, really?
It was about an hour long.
Oh my gosh, I hope they booked.
Oh yeah, they booked. It's going to be an amazing
Oh,
time. Yeah, they booked. Her session is not till October, but she booked immediately. And do you know how long we talked about pricing? It was literally like maybe 3 seconds because it
oh,
was long enough for her to be like, oh, both my kids are engineers. They're going to take care of it. It doesn't matter. Like that. That's how it was. They were like,
oh,
they want to do
wow.
this for me. I really, really want to do this. I love what
Oh,
I did with my friends' pictures.
yeah.
I don't care. I'll pay the session fee right now. They're going to buy me whatever I want.
So you had a
You
girl
know?
talk is what you had.
I had girl talk for a whole hour and it was just me asking questions and getting to know her and asking like,
Mhm.
what kind of image do you want? She was in her home. We did a Zoom call and we like toured her house. I was like, show me that wall. Show me, where would your goddess portrait go? Where is your
Oh,
power
sure.
portrait gonna go? I mean, this portrait is a symbol of all of your achievements, like everything you want to say to the world. So show me where that is in your home, where you walk, and it's a super important place for you. And she
Mhm.
did. She showed me. We talked about the colors. She told me her story. She went through a lot of weight loss because she had some medical issues. So she took care of it naturally with weight loss. And then she's a triathlete now. And she's
Wow.
lost over 100 pounds and she does the swimming, the running, and the bike. And it's something that you're like, 2 years ago, I never thought I would be able
Oh,
to do that.
wow.
That was our
Oh, and
conversation.
she's not going, she's not having her session till October.
Yeah, in
Oh,
October.
I was gonna say, I've seen all your work. Which one is she?
She's not up yet.
Rats. Now I have to wait. Stay
Yeah,
tuned. You got me.
no, you're interested.
You
Yes,
reeled me in.
yes. You see, it's just talking. It's just getting to know them and telling those stories. And so that's somebody that I'm so excited, to create something amazing for her. And
Yeah.
that goes back down to getting to know people and making sure they are your person. They are your client for you. So how do we work through that block? Again, going back to Heather, is stop making it about pricing. Start getting to know people, start dating them, start figuring out, are you the one for me? Do I want to work with you? Can I give you 100% of my best? Do I
Mhm.
want to spend time with you? Because guess what? If they're your client and you're providing the level of service that we tell you you need to provide, then you're going to get to hang out with them a lot. You might see them 3 times. You might see them 4 times. So
Mhm.
you want to make sure that they are not those porcupine prickly clients that are going to drive you crazy.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know anything that I'm talking about, get in the inner circle. Because we have a very specific finding magic vocabulary that we talk about a lot. You can go through all the lives because I do talk about this stuff. We use these terms a lot, but your porcupine clients are those clients that you probably shouldn't book with, but you're like, I really want to make this money. And so,
Hours of texts back and forth.
yes, yes, very
Yeah.
challenging.
Yeah.
And it's not even about the money because at one point you're like, there's no amount of money that's enough for me to work with
Yes, because if you need 100 texts, it can't end well.
So yeah, we
Right?
gotta, yeah, yeah. So make that your goal, Heather, when you're trying to work through this block. Make it your goal to get to know people, ask questions, and discover, that's a keyword. I use that on my page myself. This is a discovery call, and it's a call to see if we are a good fit. And if we do, both of us want to work together. So that's a
Yeah.
good,
I think you're very good at building confidence in others to let people go. You know, a year ago, I would have shot anything. And now, I'm okay referring you to someone else, you
I
know,
love
because
that.
yeah, well, because you kind of help me work through it mentally. Like it's okay, something else will come along. And honestly, when you sit down to the computer to edit all those images, and if you're not loving any part of it, it's work. Whereas when you love it, it's like I can't eat, you know,
I don't want,
you're in a zone.
I gotta finish these.
Yeah, like I don't eat for hours, you know,
Mhm.
it's like because you know, it lights you up, I guess. And
It
there's a huge difference. So
it
you're
is.
very good at giving people permission to walk away, to break up.
Yes, but I mean, it's rejection. That's what the bottom line is that as photographers, we're afraid of that. And that's really, look at that. It goes back to fear, right? So let's look at that
Mhm.
fear and where you feel that pain. And that pain comes from you being afraid of being rejected. But in this case, you have to take your power back and say, no, I'm rejecting you. You are not for me. And
Yeah.
that feels good to be able to be selective. And absolutely, if you're strong with your messaging, if your personality, like your voice is authentic, people are going to be drawn to that, the right
Mhm.
people. And I said that even yesterday when we were in the inner circle and we were talking, and I said, Shayna and I decided to be super authentic and only put our real voices and our real hearts out there. And guess what? The people in our inner circle, I mean, even the people in this group, Finding Magic, are our people. They're the people
Mhm.
we want to be around with, work with, level up with, and, continue on this path with. It's not, there are people that probably come into this group and turn around and leave it the next day because of our passion and how, specific we are about what we feel. And that's okay, because those are not the people we want to sit here and sneer and look at our videos and be like, oh, what's she talking about?
Mhm.
That's okay,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's the same
No.
thing with our clients and the people we're actually photographing. You want to be passionate about capturing those smiles. You want to like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and yeah, I mean, I didn't at all mean that in a negative way. It's
Oh
just
no, I
that
know.
like I've learned there are things that I'm not great at and I don't enjoy. And also, you know, price point wise,
Mhm.
you know, I've worked through it mentally and on paper in a unit. You know, I know what I need to make it worth my time, you
Mhm.
know, and so I know if you're not willing to pay that, that's okay. If you can't pay that, that's okay. There's someone else for you. It's just not me.
Yeah.
So,
And I love that you said that, because that touches on the point of looking at your time. Because
mhm,
what is the one commodity we all have? And we all have equal amounts technically. It's 24 hours a day. We all have 24 hours a day. What do you do
yeah,
with that time? And what do you prioritize? Because what's important to you? You know,
yeah,
what is it worth it for you to miss your child's first steps or your senior's graduation? Because that
yeah,
happens sometimes because you're prioritizing work. So we have to think about those things as well. So
yeah,
I'm going to read some of the comments here. Um, Cynthia says, yes, clients love basically when you get to know them because it makes them feel special, as they should.
mhm,
And then Monica said, go out and book sessions with different price range photographers so you can see firsthand what they offer. This way, you know how to give better service. Evie says, I laughed last week. A friend asked me what my pricing was for a photo shoot. And I said, very confident with my pricing starts at $250. And her mouth fell open. And I said, that's right. And I laughed. You know what? That was a really big step forward for me. Yes, it was,
oh,
Evie.
good for
It
her.
really, really was.
And that's just my session fee, right?
It was so funny because her and I went back and forth. And the first time she got an inquiry about her pricing, like she was it's okay for me to talk about this, right, Evie? She reached out because she was having kind of like anxiety about that, because she was, and what was it? I was like, well, what's the worst that can happen? That they're going to say
Yeah,
you're expensive, right? Like, think about that. How
yeah,
if you don't have any clients until now, how is that the worst Like, how does that feel? Like, own it, feel that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay.
Right.
Yes, I love
Yeah.
it.
And then when it happens once, the next time isn't so bad.
It doesn't hurt as bad. Exactly. All right. So Lily says her self-doubt is something that holds her back. I think self-doubt holds a lot of us back, and we talk a lot about this here within our community, which is the whole imposter syndrome. And I think that a lot of that comes back to we're comparing ourselves constantly to other people, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's kind of the way life is right now, with social media being in our faces. And you have to remember, what you see on social media, no matter how confident someone is, isn't always the truth, right?
Yes.
You're seeing
Yeah.
a curated version that people are showing you, but you're not there.
Yeah. Well, and I guess what I would say to that is, my sister always said, or always says, I should say, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
And that's a phrase that can really calm you down, because I have the same thing. I'm not to where you are, but if I do the work, watch the videos, ask the questions, go to the workshops, I know that one day I will be there. So knowledge is power. And for me, because I've been doing this only for 2 years, but I have so many people that I admire so much and have so much respect for. And rather than having maybe a jealous feeling about, oh, I wish I could have that, instead, I try now to really let it inspire me. Like, what do I love about this image?
Exactly. Absorb that knowledge.
Yeah.
And learn
Well,
through it.
and like a lot of it, like I can do a lot of the things that you can do. I'm not saying I'm you, but I can do a lot of the things that you can do because you've taught me that.
Yeah.
I've learned from you and from other artists the techniques, so
Great.
I'm getting closer, and that feels good. And that's why I'm okay not accepting every client now, because and
Awesome.
also, I'm putting in my time. I'm putting in my time to learn those things, and there's a value to that. There's a cost to that.
Exactly.
So
Absolutely. I agree. And then
I
another
took off
thing
on a
that,
rant. I'm sorry.
no, it was great. Another thing you mentioned, right, besides
Yeah.
the knowledge part, is it's great to have that knowledge. And I know a lot of you guys probably do this. You go and you buy all the classes, you go to the workshops, right? But then you come home and you're super excited. And then a week passes by, and then you don't take action on any of those things. So it's great to have that knowledge, but then going out there and taking action, that's where you're going to see growth. So I'm going to use as an example, Lily, who came to us about a month ago, and watching her growth, where she was a month ago and where she's at now, has been tremendous. I mean, today she posted her pricing sheet, and this is the first pricing sheet she's done, and she posted up there to get feedback. And that's a scary thing. So a lot of times that self-doubt comes from not putting yourself out there in a place that's safe, where you're going to get real feedback that's meant to help you, like it is here. When you post your pricing sheets, when you post your images here in our group, it is about helping you break through things and leveling up and getting better every single day. It's always about you getting better and us helping you get there as a group, as a community. So if you have self-doubt, the best thing you could do for yourself is put yourself out there to be criticized, to have that.
Remember what I wrote for you a few months back? Like, constructive criticism, it's very hard. And it's hard as a artist to not get defensive. That's someone's natural reaction. That's my natural reaction. And I had that mentality for a long time, until a friend of mine had said, why is that bad? Why is it's constructive? I was just looking at it as criticism, not constructive criticism.
Yes.
That's where I was lacking. So, and that was on me. That was my mindset. And now I can put something out there and realize it's not meant to
break you down or to hurt you.
Yeah. So I do. I would encourage it. And I mean, it's scary to post something on the internet for the world, but yeah.
Okay. So Mandy says, I like the honesty, Catherine.
I'm a mom, right?
And Mandy is another one that I am just blown
Thank you, by the way.
away by the growth. I don't know if you guys saw, she posted a picture and it was an overhead shot of her daughter. And this week we released a video on composition for when you're, and you know, being intentional when you're out there taking pictures and actually getting your composition in camera. And so I challenge people to post at least 3 different compositions that they're not used to doing.
Oh,
It's always about growth. So you may not like that composition, but you got to go out and try it. And so she was like, man, that golden spiral, like that looks really difficult. I don't know if I can do that. And she did it. And it was so fun to watch. And I talked to her and I was like, oh, do this or do that. And then she went, but she didn't do it exactly like I told her, which is amazing. And I love it. And she was like, oh, I did what you told me. I was like, no, you didn't. You took what I told you and then you made it like your own. And
oh, that's precious.
I love that picture. It's one of my favorite pictures of her. You can see the growth and she's experimented and she got really artistic and I absolutely love it.
And it was with her daughter?
Is that what you said? The page. I posted it. Yeah, it was really neat.
Take me later.
Really, really neat.
Yeah, and sometimes I enjoy just taking my kids out where I can just, I don't have the pressure. You know, when someone's new or you're still learning, it can be a bit awkward, but I have to remind myself, like, take a breath.
Yep.
Slow down. Because otherwise you mess up. And then it's good luck, you know?
Slow down and we forget. So if you guys can, even if you're not in the inner circle, you can go into our units and go out. There's shooting sections, there's lighting sections, there's editing sections. Like, go and look at the shooting unit and see what you can go back and then apply it to your shoot. And always try at least one new thing. So for Mandy, it was to try the golden spiral when she did her next shoot, and she did, and you can see the growth. And it was like, wow, that's really cool. Like, what does that make me feel when I look at it? And now I can try something else. So at the next shoot, we need to challenge Mandy. Okay, give us a different composition next time.
This golden spiral. I gotta go look.
You gotta go look at
tonight.
Video,
so now I gotta.
You're falling behind.
I'm gonna post my golden spiral. Yes. I need that before 6. Yes. I'm gonna have to find it.
You need to do it before you come here next week to Houston.
I know, right? Yeah.
So next week, Catherine is actually going to be live with us. It's the Finding Magic workshop. We've been waiting for this for an entire year. A whole year.
It's like, I feel like, what am I going to do when it's over? Because it's like, you know, it's like you're planning your wedding. I'm going to mourn the loss when it's over, like of the fun planning and the excitement of what's to come.
It has been a roller coaster for sure. And yes, I know that I'm going to be feeling grief. I'll probably like get on here on Sunday night crying. Don't leave me.
You should play on my emotions and try to get me to book for next year, the day after. Planning the next one.
Actually, no, I'm just kidding. All right. Let's see here. Jackie says for her, it's anxiety holds her back. I do find in my business, but I have constant anxiety, especially with the current events, that things won't continue. Since it's just me, it feels very heavy. It costs me peace on a regular basis. Anxiety is such a huge, I understand. I mean, all I can say, it's definitely something. I mean, I've experienced so much anxiety in the last 2 weeks. It has.
I know. We're worrying about worrying.
Yeah.
It's like, it's overwhelming for sure.
Yeah. My sister's actually a psychologist, and it's really, you know, so we actually did a whole video on anxiety in the Goddess group. So I would love to do that here. If you guys would like to see that, I can definitely bring her on and we can talk about anxiety and kind of some tips that she had. Now, for me, some of the typical tips are hard because of my ADHD. You know, I think
you're always posting about that. My ADHD.
Because y'all don't understand.
Oh,
it's so for me, my ADHD actually causes the anxiety. They kind of go hand in hand. And so when I'm not managing it, it can disrupt a lot of things for me. But the typical things that work for anxiety kind of trigger more anxiety for me. Like Holly was telling me to listen to the Calm app, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna listen to a Calm app. Are you crazy? I need movement. I need like music, and I need it to be loud and fun. Like it's just, I need noise. I can't stand the quiet. This is why I can't stop talking, obviously.
That's you and I could talk forever, I swear. That's funny.
Yeah. So I'll definitely bring my sister on because that's kind of a big topic that I feel like
Yeah.
required its own video. Um,
Right.
for Holly, what's holding her back is that lack of structure. She does have a full-time job, so she just feels like her to-do list when it comes to that is kind of overwhelming. It's
Holly
probably
who?
Holly Lund.
No way.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't believe it.
all of us have blocks. All of us have challenges and things that are
Yeah,
holding
I
us
know.
back
I'm
from
teasing.
achieving, the next goal. And it's true. So I talk about my block all the time because my ADHD can get hard to manage. And there's times when I do get overwhelmed with my to-do list. So the way I work through that is that I have to go back to my basics and I have place certain habits and certain systems to help me with it. And that
Mhm.
elevate, it helps a lot with my anxiety. So um I recommend these books all the time. They were game changers for me, life changing, really. And it's
Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits
Habit.
and then The One Thing. And every time I go and forget and fall off the wagon, right? And I'm feeling overwhelmed and anxiety, guess what I do? I go back to listen to those books. I have them on Audible. I'll listen to them when I'm editing. I'll listen to them when I'm working
Yeah.
on my animations and working on my systems because it centers me and it reminds me what's important
Yeah.
right now, this moment.
Who's that guy? You had a link. It was the gentleman, dark hair.
Mm.
It's not the Atomic Habits guy, but do you know the link I'm talking about? Oh, yeah, I can't even explain it well. Look at me.
Well, look at it. Put
Um,
it in the comments.
yeah, okay. He had the dark hair, and it was like a 15-minute, maybe more, video about like the concept of atomic habits. But I'm going to comment on this later with
Yes,
who it
yes.
is because we're
But
going
with
to
the
talk
link, yeah, yeah, no.
because he's the one who educates people. At any rate, I won't waste
Was
your
it
time. I'll
was
just
this on a Facebook Live or was this on a?
this was one that you posted like 4 months ago, and it's so good.
I'm gonna have to go back.
It talks about people's mindsets, mentalities. So we'll talk about it later, and
Yeah, that'll be
I'll
a
come
good
up
one.
with it
But
because it was really good. I sat there watching the whole thing like this, like watch the whole thing. It was great.
you guys have to work through our units because we have so much amazing content on there that's really going to help. And it doesn't just help you with your business and it doesn't just help you with your photography. It helps you in your personal life too. So for me, there's always a lot of guilt with the mom thing and balancing because technically, guys, we have like two businesses, right? We have our Finding Magic business and then we have our photography business and then we have our families. So balancing those three things, like it can get super crazy.
Mhm.
And so I would have a lot of like mom guilt. I stopped traveling and I stopped doing workshops because of that guilt. And so with The One Thing, what it helped me with was when I'm with my kids, I can just be with my kids and
Mhm.
not feel bad that stuff is not getting done on the back end for one of my other businesses. And there was so much relief in that. And now I don't feel as guilty because guess what? My kids get me every single day. They get their mommy and me time. And
Mhm.
that has just been so helpful. So definitely check it out. I know Andrea just got her book today, so that was awesome. Okay, so I think we're good. I think we're out of time. We've been talking for over an hour, which is
Oh my,
great.
oh wow.
It goes by so fast.
See, you and I.
Well, actually, I think maybe you and I were talking for over
Yeah.
an hour, and the stream's
Yeah.
only 30 minutes. But yeah, let me see if there's anything else in here to wrap this up. I just want to get to one more post, I think, within that, which is about the blocks. Um, the other question was about where do you see yourself in 5 years? And some of you guys commented with that. So the reason I asked that question is because without vision, like you cannot clear a path and you cannot strategize to that. So you guys can go and look these terms up because we're not going to have time to talk about it. But one of the things that is also transformational for your business is going to be figuring out your key performance indicators. So what are those things? Write it down. Key performance indicators. Make yourself a
Yeah.
little spreadsheet. Choose a day that's going to be your close out date, the day you close everything. You close your books, you close all of your galleries should be out. You should be done with those customers. And that's where you look at your key performance indicators. So what are those things that are going to tell you whether you're doing a good job in your business or not? You would look at how many clients did I get this month? How many prospects or phone calls did I get? How much did I spend in expenses? So expenses versus income, right? All those things are part of your key performance indicators. What did I do in marketing? How much did that cost me? What was my return on that investment? Those kinds of things. But that needs to be like its own whole video, but just kind of wanting to plant that seed right now. So you guys go out there and start doing research on that. Okay. Because that's gonna, having those things where you're actually looking at your milestones, actually analyzing what you're seeing, like your financial records and stuff, that's going to help you guys to create the strategy for the next month. Hey, did I reach my income goals? Did I get as many clients as I needed? No. Okay, what can I do? What strategies work and what didn't work? How can I alter my path for next month? Because the one thing you have the most control of is actually your like finances. You can play with your pricing. You can play with how often you're posting. Like those are the things that you can kind of control because numbers don't lie. So let's figure those things out. So that's your homework for our next conversation, which is probably going to be in about 2 weeks because next week, all we're doing is workshop stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to go live. You guys get to see all the pretty stuff. You'll get to see makeup. It's going to be so fun. So if you end up watching this in the replay, don't forget to comment #replay. Sorry if we went around in circles today. I had no structure.
It's just what we do.
That's what we do. Me and Catherine. So, anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. If you connected with some of the blocks we talked about, just remember, slow down, sit down, and get specific. Okay? Thanks so much. Bye. If I can stop the stream.